After just watching this video where Biden makes this plea to the public about this Boulder, Colorado shooting and acts like he's so concerned and distraught over this officer being killed, as a former officer, it really disgraces me because you may ask why, was the officer a hero? Absolutely. Most noble profession all day, every day. Right up there, same as military guys. But all I've seen since 2015 was, open season on officers nationwide. I literally can't even count the daily shootings are just ambushes on cops, shootings on cops, cops being fired at, officers sitting in their cars doing paperwork, people walking up, putting a gun to their head. And when did this really amp up? Ferguson riots, 2015. Obama was, telling the cops they didn't know what they were doing. From that point on, all I've seen is open season on police officers. So I've seen no one really care about that. The hand of God hasn't came down. Law enforcement has not taken any swift action. They're not really brought in the National Guard. This is just acceptable by society for whatever reason. It's acceptable by the states and governments, federal governments. It's just allowed to keep happening, and officers just keep getting killed for no reason, and no one cares. And those officers' names, including buddies of my own, their names are forgotten within 2 weeks of their funeral processions they have. And now, it disgraces me to see the president trying to use this officer in Boulder, Colorado, use this officer Talley, and to try to pump up his name, for some assault weapons ban now. While in the meantime, thugs nationwide, in St. Louis included, are going into gun shows, going into gun stores, and doing, still buying assault weapons, walking out with AK Draco pistols, walking out with ARs, all decked out, scopes, bipods, flashlights, lasers, night vision helmets, arming themselves for battle. Why is that being allowed to happen? Why are police officers that are trying to buy assault weapons being delayed and being denied for no reason? I guess the question is, what is really going on? If crime so out of control, which it is, St. Louis is basically turned into, there's rolling gun battles happening on Highway 70, Highway 270, Highway 170. I mean, the most common highways coming through St. Louis and used by commuters, going to work, leaving work, picking up their kids from daycare. There's women being shot in the head in the crossfire by gangbangers in broad daylight, with what? Assault weapons. No one says anything. They just clean it up. They go to the next crime scene. So, why is the president not on the news during these incidents? Why was the president not on the news for the black woman that was shot in the head on 170 in broad daylight in St. Louis, just going down the road, enjoying herself? Why was he not speaking out on that? This incident here, he gets in office and uses and props up this police officer to use him for his assault weapons agenda. To me, that is, a disgrace. It's very disrespectful, and he's using this officer for his agenda. And all the thousands of other officers, no one's mentioned or named them at all. But now this incident here, this Boulder, Colorado deal, they're all over this now. So everyone else, though, no one's even heard of. The kids all the little girls just shot and killed in St. Louis. No one said a word. President wasn't notified. President was not on TV. No one wants to talk about, gangbangers buying weapons to kill other gangbangers with, or no one wants to even touch the racial topics if it comes in, if it's involved or is brought up. So, society is degraded so much in the last year and 2 years with its liberal views that you're not even allowed to even talk about anything factual even going on, because people cry out that they're offended or their feelings are hurt, especially if you're talking about stuff dealing with criminals. Everybody will die. Nowadays, they will die, you know, to fight out to the last word, last drop of blood to protect the criminals. They will, you know, and so people really, what I've seen, what I've learned in life is you always get what you ask for. That's why they say be careful what you ask for. People have been so diehard against law enforcement for so long that, and therefore, and also the supporting this open season against law enforcement, that all the good guys like me have left long ago. So, you know, my statement to the public is that, well, you know, you've gotten what you asked for. You know, back in the day, my friends used to come to me, and after seeing the movie Training Day that came out, that was very famous with Denzel Washington, and everybody thought all of a sudden that all cops were these drug dealers and bad guys and corrupt cops. And people always ask me, is it really like that? Have you really worked with guys like this? Do you see this often? And the answer was always no. I laughed. You know, there's certainly always bad eggs, but the movie could portray it easily that you might think most cops were dirty like this. But now I'm here to tell people that things have actually changed so drastically that you do have a lot more of that now. Absolutely. And, you know, the politicians are dirty. A lot of the higher ups in the police departments are dirty. A lot of the, you know, detective units or drug units are, you know, you're seeing more of them dirty. You're seeing more of the street level, just patrolmen, you know, blatantly dirty. But society, it's just good versus evil is all this comes down to. It has nothing to do about black or white. It has nothing to do with assault weapons. It has to do with good versus evil. And a lot of these people that I see that have these hardcore political views about taking away the guns, you know, hey, let's take away the cops. Let's let citizens patrol the streets. When you really look at the views they have, they're usually atheist type views. Anti-God. They really, you know, they're pro-abortion. they really stand for everything that is against, you know, everything that is good in people and everything that is good in society. And so for so long now, the cops have just been dogged out that you're really getting what you ask for now. You're having just complete unrest in society. The government, the media has been successful in dividing the society and breaking us down into all these group, you know, white against black, you know, black against Hispanic, Hispanic against Asian. You know, they're successfully dividing the population. And a house that is divided falls. And that is simply all that is going on here, nothing more. If everybody was to unite and to stand up against the government, they would not be able to, you know, control us. And they would not be able to do anything actually to us. So, you know, for them to win, they have to do this, to have total control. And that's what it's all about. So, you know, I'm not into actual politics at all myself. I'm just into observing right and wrong and speaking the facts. But nowadays, that is not popular. And it's not a way to attract friends because, again, I've never seen so many people nowadays that have such a stance, you know, again, it's turning into almost, I mean, if a guy or a woman goes on a dating site nowadays, the criteria used to be, you know, do you have things in common or, you know, to see if you get along with this person. In 2021, the criteria for a dating site for people to find a match is who did you vote for president? Do you own an assault rifle? You know, are you pro-police? Are you pro-military? You know, are you atheist? Are you satanic? You know, so when your society is degraded to the point where that's the criteria for meeting someone, you definitely have a battle coming on the horizon soon, and in so many ways, in so many fronts, you know. But I think. And just like it says in the Bible, you know, people that believe in God, you will be persecuted, you will be brought before the courts, and basically you will be called to speak out, you know, do you believe in God or do you not believe in God? And when things get really bad, and whenever that time comes, that's what ultimately, that's the direction we're headed ultimately. Like I said again, don't be fooled. This has nothing to do with assault weapons. This has nothing to do with race. This has nothing to do with police or military or any of this. These things are all small details in the overall picture. But people were easily poked and prodded with our emotions to jump onto these things and get caught up in all these useless conversations. But there's way bigger plans going on, and you know, I guess I encourage you to definitely sit down and you know, obviously get right with God is one thing, but you know, just as hard as it is in this world that they're trying to lead us into, I encourage you to try to keep doing the right thing, be a Christian. If you have friends that are struggling or getting caught up in the way the world is, you know, try to get them into church as well. But, you know, all this fear that is going around right now, too, is literally comical. They want us to be afraid of everything right now, and everybody literally is just paralyzed in nothing but fear. They're afraid to drive outside, afraid to talk to their neighbors, afraid to go on a date, afraid to get a job, afraid to try to start a new business, afraid of everything, afraid to have any goals. If they have goals, they're afraid to try to figure out how to accomplish the goals, you know. So the government has totally been successful in many levels, and this is not something that's been going on for the last year or two. There's been, you know, in this country also, it's common knowledge, there's been a communist agenda in this country since World War II. So 30 years before I was even born, I'm 46, people were already plotting on, you know, how to, you know, make this country not a free country, you know, how to get God uninvolved from this country when that's what this country was founded on. And again, I heard somebody bring up a very good point on a religious channel a couple years ago that, you know, this country was founded on God. So all the good things that happened here and everything that's been brought up, you know, so, and that has been taken away now. And when you take that away, well, you know, unfortunately that's not the way God works. You know, you don't believe in him until you get what you want and then turn your back. So what happens is you're going to lose all that. And that means, you know, this country is going to fall is what's going to happen. And I believe we're seeing that happen right now. So a lot of people are panicking. They know bad things are coming, but they may not know exactly what. But, you know, they're moving out of cities. People are becoming preppers. People are becoming survivalists. People are buying weapons. Even people that are against guns are now buying weapons. When it's really too late for them. But, you know, it's a whole other topic for another day. But they're trying to arm themselves finally when really it's hard to even find weapons or ammo at this time. But you have those people that are deciding in the very last minute that maybe it's a good idea. Maybe I should be protecting myself. So, you know, so many topics going on with everything that, and they're all connected. So it's easy to just keep on this discussion all day long. Can make this a 48-hour video and I wouldn't even cover everything. But again, I think it's a disgrace that, you know, Biden is trying to act like he really is, you know, really cares about law enforcement, really cares about this police officer, and he's going to prop him up to use him for this assault weapons ban. So, you know, what about every year the 300 officers that are, you know, killed by suicide, and the veterans that are killed? You know, we lose more veterans every year by suicide. No one wants to talk about anything that's ever the truth. And, you know, those things are just not allowed to be brought up. And if you bring up the truth in any topic, I've learned, you're instantly the bad guy and you're shut down. So people never want to hear that. So until people do want to hear that and then change things, and starting with themselves, then there's a huge battle, obviously, coming for everybody to face, whatever that is, whether that's an economic deal, housing or economy crash deal, martial law or taking weapons away. I don't really know what's going to happen, but daily we're losing rights. Things are being, you know, pushed on us, and we have a president that's signing off executive orders and doesn't even know what he's signing off on. But all he knows is that, and doesn't really know what he's doing in general, but just knows he wants to ban assault weapons. So they've been harping on that for the last 20 years now. A lot of conspiracy surrounding that topic as well. There's even been a lot of guys, I've talked to a lot of other really smart people, and one theory they shared as well as me is that because for the last 20 years they've been talking about taking away weapons, I've often wondered that if they were just in bed with some of these gun companies and defense companies to use that fear to create that buying, and that they were just making some money off of that. And that's a very, very possible, huge possibility. But again, they would almost have to just outlaw the weapons and turn us into felons, because they're never going to be able to handle coming door to door and taking those. It's never going to happen. So the only way they could try to do that is just to outlaw the stuff or put some type of tax on it, try to make us into an instant criminal. And so, I don't know, but I would love to hear your guys' theories. Any thoughts on how they're dividing the country, thoughts what you think about the gun laws and the religious views and how it all connects with the political views and just everything else I hit on. I'd love to hear your guys' theories. So let me know if you would like to hear another video on a different topic. All right, guys, thanks for watching.